The land of the Idoma stretched wide under the burning Bennu sun. Red earth paths wound through farmlands where women harvested yams, and men returned from the hunt. In Otukpo, at the foot of the Okwute Hills, lived Ode, the son of Ocha, a hunter respected by all. Strong, tall, and quiet, Ode carried with him the discipline of his ancestors. Ene, the only daughter of a palm wine tapper, often fetched water by the Ofu River. Her laughter was as soft as the evening flute, and her beauty was the pride of her village. Many suitors had come, but her father, Ejima, insisted she marry only a man who would bring honor and wealth to their family. When the new Yam festival approached, the air thickened with excitement. The Alekwu masquerades would dance, the drums would thunder, and young men and women would find courage to whisper their heart's desires. Ode had already made up his mind. This would be the season he would speak to Ene. But in Idoma land, love was never simple. It had to pass through the gates of family, tradition, and the spirits of the ancestors. It was the evening of the Ogrinya dance, when the village square glowed with firelight and the rhythm of drums shook the earth. The masquerades emerged, their masks painted with sacred signs, their steps echoing the voice of Alekwu. Among the crowd, Ene's waist swayed with the music, her red beads glowing against her dark skin. Ode could not take his eyes off her. Their eyes met across the crowd, and for a brief moment, it felt as though the masquerades danced only for them. Een lowered her gaze, shy yet bold enough to let her glance linger. That single moment tied their spirits together, though words had not yet been spoken. Ode's friends urged him, "Speak to her before another man wins her heart." But he knew the weight of Idoma customs. Love declared in haste could offend the ancestors. He would wait, but not too long. Een's heart, unknown to her father, was already leaning toward him. The moon rose like a calabash of milk above Okwute Hills. After the Ogrinya drums faded, Ode walked the footpath by the Ofu River, rehearsing the words he'd say to Ene. The elders often warned, "A word that lacks respect is a stone that calls for its own blood." He would not stumble before the ancestors. He found her at the water's edge, rinsing a clay pot. Fireflies pulsed like tiny spirits around her wrists. "Een," he said softly, and the name felt like an oath in his mouth. She turned, surprised but not afraid. He faced the river, speaking with humility. "My father taught me to aim before I loose an arrow. I ask permission to aim my life toward you." Een's smile was a small sunrise. "A hunter who asks before he aims is rare," she teased gently. Yet the weight of family pressed behind her eyes. "My father wants a man of trading wealth. He believes a hunter's fortune ends with the season." Ode nodded. "Alekwu sees the inside of the calabash. If I am worthy, the spirits will make a path." They walked back toward the village beneath palm fronds, whispering with night wind. They spoke of farms and festivals, of dreams that did not contradict tradition. Before parting, Een touched the beaded charm at her neck. "Bring a word to my father," she said, "a respectful word, and bring elders who can greet his elders." Ode bowed slightly. "I will come with dawn when the cock announces truth." Morning arrived with market noise and the scent of smoked fish. At Ejima's compound, a visitor had already spread his wealth. A trader from Igumale named Igbaji. His wrappers were new, his sandals shone, and 2 apprentices carried baskets of salt, cloth, and cowries. Ejima's eyes widened. Wealth speaks loudly where hunger knows the cost of yam. Ene kept her gaze lowered as Agbaji praised her beauty. "I will build her a shop," he boasted. "She will count profits while others count seasons." Ejima smiled, imagining a future cushioned by goods and connections. But Een's heart felt like a trapped bird. She remembered the patience in Ode's voice by the river, the honest weight of his words. Before the sun bent high, Ode arrived with his father, Ocha, and 2 uncles. They carried kola nuts and calabashes of palm wine. Ode greeted with the measured wisdom of his age. "We step on your mat with light feet. May our words not break your roof." Ejima welcomed them, but Agbaji's shadow loomed in the courtyard. The discussion began. Ejima asked the old questions: how the young man would care for his daughter, what fields he owned, which kin could speak for him in times of trouble. Agbaji interrupted often, waving cloth and cowries like a market bell. Oke remained calm. Wealth that shouts does not always know the path back home, he said. Ejima's mouth twitched, but he said nothing. The first meeting ended with no decision, only the thick smell of competition, lingering like smoke. Rumors traveled faster than the Ofu in flood season. Eine, treasured daughter of Ejima, stood between a hunter and a trader. The elders decided to consult the Alekwu grove, ancestral ground where truth is weighed. At dusk, the masquerade's attendants swept the sacred path. Drums rolled like distant thunder. Women kept a respectful distance, humming old hymns that turned fear into reverence. At the grove, a masked figure emerged, cane tapping the earth with measured authority. The air changed. Even the leaves seemed to listen. Oche and Ejima presented their petitions. Agbaji offered white cloth and a cock. Ode offered kola, palm wine, and promises wrapped in humility. Ene's mother placed a small gourd at the foot of the sacred tree, whispering a mother's prayer. Let love wear respect like coral beads. The masquerade circled, then stopped before Ini. It lifted a palm frond toward her heart, then toward Ode, then finally toward Agbaji. The cane tapped the earth twice before Ode and once before Agbaji. The attendants murmured. An elder interpreted with care, the ancestors do not count coins, they count character. Yet character must learn to walk with provision. The message was clear but balanced. Love was favored, not indulgence. Provision, too, must be pursued. Leaving the grove, Agbaji's pride flared. Character does not feed a household, he spat. Ode only bowed to the path. The farm that feeds today began as land no one trusted. Ian's eyes met his. Hope flickered, cautious and bright. The season turned toward the new yam festival. Compounds filled with the aroma of okaho soup, thick and fragrant, and mortars pounded like small drums. Ejima announced a second gathering, this time a feast where both men would break kola with the family. A man who eats with you must learn the weight of your bowl, he said. Agbaji arrived first, gifts piled high once more. He spoke loudly of future shops, of profits that would march like soldiers. The youths clapped, dazzled by the shine of it all. Then came Ode with modest bundles, fresh game, calabash spoons carved by his cousin, and a simple wrapper dyed with patience rather than glitter. At the kola breaking, Onyechi, the eldest aunt, led the ritual. Kola is our witness. It is broken to make whole. She watched how each man handled the nut. Agbaji rushed, scattering pieces like a careless wind. Ode lifted it to his brow, breathed, and broke it neatly along the living line. The elders exchanged glances. During the meal, Ejima asked hard questions about land and future. Oke spoke plainly. They had a small orchard, 2 goats, and the season's promise. But he added, we are planting a new plot near the Okuta slope. With family labor it will bear. Agbaji laughed. Promises are empty baskets. Eni's mother frowned. A basket empties only when it once held something. Before leaving, Ode stood. If the ancestors require proof, let me bring a harvest that answers without noise. He vowed to fell a notorious antelope in the Oglewu thicket, the one hunters boasted about but never delivered. Let the meat be my word, he said. The courtyard hummed at the audacity, and Ian's heartbeat learned a new song. Dawn dripped silver over the grass as Ode entered Oglewu thicket with 2 companions. The forest carried old gossip, stories of hunters who chased pride and returned with excuses. Ode touched the ground, reading prints as if listening to a shy drummer. Hours became heat. The antelope remained in absence. At noon, a wind turned the leaves and a hush fell. Ode's companion pointed. There, at the edge of shadow, the antelope lifted its head. It was older than stories, its horns like twin crescents of night. Ode steadied his breath. Aim before arrow, his father had said. He waited through a heartbeat, then another, until the creature turned broadside. The bow thrum was a small truth. The antelope leapt, stumbled, then vanished into brush. They tracked with care, honoring the life they took. When they found it, Ode knelt. "Forgive the hand that must feed the hands," he murmured, binding gratitude to the act. They returned at dusk, the carcass borne on a pole, the village stunned into joy. At Ejima's compound, the meat was shared with measured fairness. Elders first, widows and orphans next, then families by seniority. Onyechi nodded. "A provider thinks in rings, not in pockets." Agbaji watched, silent for once, as the village tasted proof that did not shout. That night, under stars like ancestral eyes, Ine whispered a prayer of thanks. Her heart no longer felt trapped, only tested. "Alekwu," she breathed, "count this." With the hunt delivered, talk turned to bride price. The elders met under the udala tree, chalking lines on a goatskin as they listed the items. Goats, yams, jars of palm wine, fabric, and visiting gifts for maternal kin. Oche tallied calmly, some he could provide now, some after harvest. Agbaji, bristling, offered to pay everything twice over, immediately. Ejima stroked his beard. Abundance tempted even wise men. Onyechi intervened. "We marry daughters to men, not ledgers. The list is a bridge, not a chain." She proposed a compromise, staged fulfillment. Initial items now to honor tradition, remaining items after the new Yam festival, with public witnesses to keep both families honest. Let honor walk on two legs, today and tomorrow. Ine's maternal uncles arrived from Adoka, testing Ode with riddles and proverbs. He answered with patience, sometimes laughing at his own missteps. "A man who can laugh at error will not hide a broken roof," one uncle said, satisfied. Agbaji rolled his eyes. "This is theater," he muttered, but even he agreed to the stage plan. To refuse would seem un-Idoma. As palm wine flowed, Ejima finally spoke. "If love has knees, let it kneel to tradition. If wealth has eyes, let it see beyond itself. Ain will marry the man whose feet remain steady after the festival." A date was chosen. The courtyard exhaled relief that sounded like music. Ain and Ode met only in passing glances, but those glances carried whole speeches. The path was set, yet every path still belongs to the weather. The new Yam festival burst upon Otukpo in a riot of drums and color. Masquerades leapt like flames. Children chased laughter. Women's wrappers flashed like banners. Elders broke roasted yam over a clean mat, blessing farms against hunger and tongues against foolishness. The air tasted of smoke, palm oil, and promise. Ine's hands trembled as she helped her mother set a calabash before the shrine. "May my daughter's name be water that never sours," her mother prayed. Across the square, Ode carried a basket, yams from the new oakwood plot, bigger than rumor had expected. He laid them at Ejima's feet, alongside the second share of bride price items promised. No speech, just action. When the Oglinia musicians called, dancers flowed like the Ofu after rain. The Alekwu masquerade approached Ine and Ode, cane tapping twice in blessing. The crowd murmured, then burst into that special cheer that belongs to communities who witness rightness. Ejima, seeing the stage promise now fulfilled, placed his hand on Ode's shoulder. "May your roof hold in storm," he said. Even Agbaji, pride bruised but not broken, stepped forward with a final gift. Fine cloth for Ene's mother. "Let peace spend the night here," he offered. The elders, grateful for dignity on all sides, clapped their approval. In Idoma land, losing with grace is also a kind of wealth. As moonlight washed the square, Ine and Ode danced, two steady flames beneath ancestral eyes. The village became a proverb. When truth carries yam on its head, even envy must clear the path. The wedding day rose golden, woven with songs that never grow old. Ode arrived with his kin bearing goats, jars of palm wine, and the last of the agreed items. Ine's aunties painted her hands with chalk designs, signs of purity and continuity, while younger cousins threaded coral beads through her hair. At the doorway, Onyeki whispered, "A wife is not a visitor. She is a path the family will walk for years." Under a canopy of udala leaves, vows were spoken in the language that shaped them. "Okay, bless the couple. Let your quarrels be small enough for the mat to hold. Let your joy be too large for the walls to contain." Ejima, eyes bright with unshed tears, lifted Ian's hands into Odie's palms. Bring her home and let home grow around her. Feasting followed, pounded yam and okaho, smoked fish and laughter, palm wine that remembered every good story. The Alekwu masquerade passed once more, cane touching the earth in gentle approval. Children ran in circles, catching the future in their fists like butterflies. When evening softened the sky, Ian stepped into her new compound. She touched the doorframe and prayed, "Let this house be a calabash that never leaks. Respect, patience, gratitude." Ode placed his hunting bow above the hearth, then set a basket for seeds near the door. "Our wealth will have many fathers, farm, craft, kindness, and time," he said. And so their life began. Not a river of ease, but a river with clear banks. In seasons of plenty and in seasons that asked for courage, they returned to the proverb that had chosen them. Alekwu does not deny true love when it is wrapped in respect. Their children would hear it, and their children after them, until the red earth of Idoma could recite it by heart.